Amy Lynn Bradley, the 23-year-old ambitious girl who disappeared mysteriously from a cruise ship. Ever felt the power of a gut feeling? When you feel that something is not right or something gets worse over time? Well, our gut feeling, or what you can say sixth sense, works mysteriously. It warns us about things that are yet to clear themselves before us. It draws a complete picture of an unforeseen future before us. Feeling something wrong is one thing, while acting upon the call of your heart is another. Many of us often get hints about something being entirely wrong, and yet we continue to pace forward. In the end, we always regret our decision to move forward despite the subtle warnings received by our mind. Today's case is a clear example of one such mistake, which changed the life of an ambitious girl for her whole life, and to this day, this case is considered the biggest mystery which was never unraveled before the world. Welcome to AF Crime, this channel that brings you fascinating crimes all around the world. If you're interested in this kind of content, then this channel is for you. Make sure to like this video, click on the subscribe button, and turn on the notification bell to keep you updated on our recent uploads. Now, let's get right into the video and investigate more about this case, which raised a lot of questions about the law and order system regarding human trafficking. The spring of 1998 was going to be a memorable one for the Bradley family because they had just planned to go together on a memorable vacation. They decided to go on a cruise because Ron Bradley, who was the head of the family, had gotten the vacation passes for his entire family. Ron was very excited to go along with his wife, Iva Bradley, as well as two children, Brad and Amy. His son Brad was 21, while daughter Amy, a girl of 23, had recently graduated from Longwood University in sports sciences. She was exceptionally well in sports and was also a swim team coach back in her alma mater. He revealed his plan to both his kids. Brad loved the fun, and this was going to be a memorable experience, so he agreed instantly. Yet, to Ron's complete surprise, his daughter Amy was a bit reluctant to go on the cruise because she had some psychological fear of a giant ship and the endless ocean waters. At this point, Ron's wife Iva told Ron that it was normal that Amy was feeling a bit hesitant, since people fear getting seasick all the time. Since this was going to be a family vacation, both parents told how they were going to make the most out of it by spending time together. And who can refuse a great vacation alongside family? It's a rare chance when everyone gets free from the bustling routines and decides to hang out. Amy was thinking about all the fun she was going to have together with her family. So she later on agreed because missing out on the chance of a kindling vacation was a big no for her. Excited, she started preparing for her unforgettable memories she was going to make. Finally, the day came when they all had to board the ship called Rhapsody of the Seas. The ship was a giant monster and had rooms for almost 2,000 passengers on board. The ship was going to be cruising on the Caribbean waters as passengers were going to visit the tropical Caribbean islands during this voyage. The Bradley family boarded the ship on 21st of March 1998. Soon, they found themselves enjoying the atmosphere and the salty wind blowing over the sea. The ship was no less than a giant sea hotel, where passengers were rejoicing, playing games, clubbing, dining, and chatting. The Bradley family mixed with the other passengers, and soon everyone wanted these moments to last forever. Though everything was fine, apparently, Iva noticed that her daughter Amy was becoming the center of attention. Many passengers on the ship, along with the crew of the ship, were giving her special attention. Well, no one could blame them, for Amy, being a bright girl, was not merely pretty, but had fine ideas concerning her career too. Iva thought maybe this was the reason that her daughter was turning out irresistible to everyone else. On the third day of the cruise, the ship sailed to Aruba Island. It was a beautiful day, and everyone, including the Bradley family, toured the island. Amy was very excited. She shopped for her friends and family. She knew that this was going to be a memorable journey, and she couldn't wait to share every tiny detail of this venture with her friends. So she thought of getting a postcard to send her best friend. "It's fun here. I will be back by Saturday," she wrote in the postcard. Soon it was time for the ship to cruise further to Curacao Island. All the passengers were welcomed once again by the crew of the ship. Amy thought of posting the postcard right when they arrived in Curacao, so she kept the postcard in her cabin. By the night, there was a tropical party arranged at the ship by the management of the ship, and everyone was supposed to dress formally wearing black, since it was the theme of the night. Amy complied with the instructions and attended the party with everyone else. She looked breathtaking in black. Everyone who looked at her couldn't resist admiring her flawless beauty, and one of them was a waiter on the ship. He sounded too interested in Amy. He was sorting out a chance to talk to Amy, but Amy was too busy to entertain any stranger. When Amy went with her younger brother Brad for taking pictures, the waiter requested Amy's mother Iva to permit Amy to go on a drink with the crew of the ship once they sailed. This was very strange for Iva, and we all know the reason. If a random person comes out of nowhere and requests to take a family member on a date, it's going to surprise everyone. But Iva paid no heed, since she was thinking that the crew was merely impressed by Amy's beauty. She discussed this with Amy as well, who also showed her surprise, and eventually this was shrugged off as a joke. That night, as the dinner was over, the family made their way to the club for partying and started dancing to the beats. Amy, at this point, started bonding with one of the guitarists of the ship's band crew. Alistair Douglas, who was also known as Yellow, started dancing with Amy. By midnight, the parents decided to rest in their cabins since they had a long day tomorrow, so they left while Amy and Brad were still partying in the club. Finally, at 3:35 a.m., Brad decided to leave the club because he was too tired to dance any longer. Right after 5 minutes, Amy also entered their cabin. Both of the siblings were very tired, so after wishing a fine night to each other, both slept. Amy was sleeping out there on the balcony because she wanted to be in some open space, while Brad slept inside the cabin, and this long night of merriment came to an end. The next morning, Ron woke up at 5:30 a.m. He wanted to check on his children to find out if they had returned from the club or not. He saw that Brad was sleeping soundly on his bed, while Amy's leg was visible from where he was standing. She was asleep on the balcony. Ron didn't think of waking up Amy because he knew that she was very tired, so he thought he could let his children sleep for a bit longer. He also went back to sleep, but something was unsettling and so absurd that he couldn't sleep at peace, so he woke up once again at 6 a.m. This time, he thought of waking up his children as he stepped inside to the cabin. He glanced at the balcony, but he couldn't find Amy there. He thought that she must have been awake on her own. He entered the balcony, but there was no sign of her. He checked her bed. She wasn't there, and everything else, including her slippers, were intact in the room. Just her lighter and cigarettes were missing. So he thought that Amy must be up at the deck for a smoke. He went up to the deck, but Amy wasn't there as well. He searched her back in the club, but she wasn't there. At this point, Ron started getting a bit panicked because Amy was nowhere to be seen around. He woke Brad and Iva and told them everything. Soon the family started searching for Amy but couldn't find a trace of her. They were greatly panicked at this point. They asked the crew members about Amy, and they told that none of them had seen Amy at all. At this point, they knew that something wasn't okay with Amy and things were getting out of hand. So they informed the captain of the ship and other crew members, requesting a detailed search of the ship and announcing her as a missing person. At that point, the captain refused to do so. According to his opinion, it was not fine for the reputation of the ship. By 7:30, they finally made an announcement in which they requested Amy to be there at the ship's deck, but no one came. Bradley's family further requested to not allow the passengers to disembark any passenger without carrying out a detailed search. This idea was also rejected. Right when the ship sailed at Curacao Island, the search was carried out to pacify the family, but nothing came out of it. By now, the parents were surrounded with multiple ideas. The ship's crew believed that Amy might have drowned in water during her sleep, as she was already high from last night's party, but the Bradley family soon rejected this idea because Amy was a very good swimmer, as she herself was a coach back in the university. So it wasn't possible. Besides, her cigarettes along with her lighter were the only things absent from the room, which implied that she woke up for a smoke. As soon as the family reached the shore, they contacted the FBI, which soon took hold of the ship, and things were assessed from a new point of view. Upon assessing the CCTV footage, they found that Amy went back to the club in the morning hours. This was a clear indication that there was someone on board who had a role in Amy's disappearance, and the prime suspect was the same guitarist, Yellow, with whom Amy had last interacted. He negated the suspicions. He said that he only remained there with Amy last night and then left. He further passed the polygraph test and was no longer suspected. Eventually, the local police and FBI both considered it a case of human trafficking, which was a common occurrence on the Caribbean shore. After Amy's disappearance, many witnesses came forward which said that they had seen Amy. Right after a month of her disappearance, a cab driver came forward and admitted that he had seen Amy, who came to him seeking his phone, but at that point he was unclear about trusting her. This testimony, though, proved that Amy was alive, but didn't prove itself effective for the case at all. Another person who saw Amy was a Canadian scuba instructor. He said that in August 1998, he saw a girl just as of Amy's description at Curacao Beach, who was accompanied by two strange-looking guys and who tried to communicate with him. Right after that, another witness, who was a retired U.S. Navy SEAL, admitted that he had met Amy in a brothel back in 1999, who asked for his help, but he was too afraid to admit or share that as it was against his service ethics, so he confessed this in 2002. It was now clear that Amy had become a victim of human sex trafficking network, which was widespread in the Caribbean islands, but no one could do anything at all. In September 1999, a self-proclaimed private investigator named Frank Jones emailed the Bradley family and assured them of helping them by using his connection, since he claimed that he was a U.S. Navy officer. He demanded $210,000 from the family during a period of 2 years. Distraught by the loss of their only daughter, the family never hesitated and gave this amount. The man sent them Amy's picture in hat, along with a man where her face was concealed, but the tattoo on her leg was evident. He revealed that Amy was kept in a private property under severe security. However, the narrative came to an end when a family friend of the Bradleys and another private investigator, Tim Buckles, found out the truth. It was revealed that Frank was a con man who did nothing except take advantage of Bradley's situation. He was sentenced for 5 years and directed to pay a fine of $24,000 along with every penny he had taken from the Bradleys. In 2002, the family received some photos from an anonymous source which apparently resembled Amy. These photos were of a woman who looked in her late 20s and was advertised as Jazz on an escort website based in the Caribbean. Amy's family instantly contacted a forensic detective who verified that it was Amy. Soon, the IP was traced, but nothing came out of that as well. In 2005, a woman named Judy Maurer once again encountered Amy in a departmental store's restroom in Barbados. Maurer tells that she found the girl very scared, who told her that her name was Amy and she was from Virginia. They had talked only this bit as 3 men came in and took her with them. 9 months after this encounter, Maurer once again identified Amy when she saw her latest pictures in a missing person article. This instantly became clear to her that the girl whom she had met earlier was the same one in the pictures. She instantly informed the police, which sketched out Amy as well as the 3 men with her. The sketches were then used to find out whether someone else had ever seen Amy or the 3 guys in the departmental store, but no one remembered them by now. So, eventually, the case became a lost cause. Till 2010, FBI listed Amy's name in the missing persons list, and a reward of $25,000 was announced for the one who would provide accurate information leading to the discovery of Amy, but nothing happened. In 2010, the FBI declared Amy officially a dead person, since no trace could be found in all these years. However, Amy's family is still hopeful to this day. They believe that someday Amy will surely be back and they will once again laugh together. Though, that's also a fact that even if Amy comes back, the brutality of time will be transformative for Amy, and she will be a changed person by now. This case tells why is there an utmost need of stiff laws considering interrogation of the suspects, since many, including Amy's own family, still believe that Yellow and many other crew members knew more than a lot, but they were never interrogated strictly, as it was found that Amy's picture, along with her brother Brad, was nowhere to be found, as the photographer distributed all the passengers their photos of the dinner night, but eventually no one took this disappearance seriously, which tells a lot about the superficial system of law. If you know anything about Amy or this case, feel free to make an anonymous tip to the FBI, because we never know when things might change and poor Amy gets to meet her family again. If you feel that this case was an intriguing one, like this video and share it with all your friends. Also, subscribe to our channel, AF Crime, for finding out more shocking crime tales around the world. And if you have any criminal case that you'd like me to investigate, share it in the comment section below.